Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back finally to the Barila Show podcast. I'm your host, Margo Barilla, and it feels good to be back. One of the first things I'm gonna quickly disclaim before we get started here is I am sick. I wasn't gonna let the sickness delay yet another week. I already feel bad for postponing it to this week, but I'm not letting the sickness be, get in the way of this. But yeah, welcome back to the new and improved Barilla Show podcast. Same podcast, new agenda. That's kind of what my rebrand slogan is. Obviously, some of you guys are probably gonna be wondering, well, what's different from the original Barilla Show podcast? Obviously, yes, the logo is still the same. I kind of like the logo as it is right now. It's super simplistic. It's right to the point. Nothing too tacky or fancy. Just simple, right to the point. If you guys are following the social media, which hopefully you guys should be, obviously all that will be in the link down in the description if you want to keep updated on all things about this podcast. I kind of explain what's to be new. So it's gonna be a lot more political talk, a lot more real world events, a lot more serious, more topics. The whole idea of this podcast for me was kind of like to explain where I'm coming from and where I stand. I think it's important for people my age, 20 years older, especially a lot of or older Gen Z. I think it's more important to be focused and kind of be more. Your attention should be turned to what's going on in the real life and real world. And I guess I want to use this platform that I have to keep you guys updated on all things news. Even if you guys have already heard about what's going on, I just want to give you guys my take. Um, so yeah, so obviously, the other thing is that for those who may or may not be wondering, the Unfiltered podcast is still going to happen new Wednesdays every Wednesday at 12 p.m. EST. That's not going nowhere. I'm still doing that. I'm doing this again. I'm not getting paid to do either of these podcasts. I just do it because I have an joy of talking a lot of things. So I consider this another thing to add to my weekly agenda. So every Wednesday will be a new episode of the Unfiltered Podcast, and every Friday will be a new episode of the Barilla Show Podcast. Both podcast episodes will be going out at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only main difference is that while the Unfiltered Podcast is on all platforms besides Apple Podcast, as of right now, the Barilla Show podcast will be a YouTube exclusive podcast. It's because it's free. Because I don't know, I'm sure everybody who has any podcasts out there may or may not know, having a podcast is fucking expensive. If you want to have the proper, software, to upload your podcast, it's a monthly subscription, and for some reason, uploading, every uploading website for podcasts right now are currently absolutely insane. All prices are going up. I guess there's a fucking tariff for YouTube podcasting. So as of right now, YouTube is the obviously cheaper option because it's free. You don't have a monthly subscription for that. Thank God. Um, but who knows? Maybe if this goes well, I'll consider dropping a bag and making this on all platforms. But as of right now, this will be on YouTube. While the Unfiltered Podcast will be on YouTube and Spotify, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcast. Um, but yeah, so what's going up with me? I think I had to sneeze, but it's like stuck in the chamber. God, I'm not sure what I have. I'm not sure if it's a flu or a cold, but like I have all this pressure building up in my nose. It could be a sinus infection or anything sinus. It's fucking really annoying. Um, but yeah, so one of the other big reasons why I wanted to do this podcast is because as of right now, it's no surprise. Obviously September just ended, and it was probably one of the most fucking devastating and stressful, Septembers in a hot minute. With all the school shootings and the assassination of Charlie Kirk and just all these other fucked up tragic events, especially the fucking genocide that's currently happening in Palestine, and it's just I don't know. I want to use this to kind of like spread the word, but I also want to spread positivity. I want this podcast to be a platform where we can all disagree healthily and without the use of verbal harassment or physical threats or death threats. I hate that. I think that even if you disagree with the person morally, I don't condone like I don't want to use threat. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. If you disagree with that, then by all means. But I think in today's day and age where America is way more divided than actually you fucking united, like, I think that we need more people, like myself and other individuals like Assam Piker and other political influencers to spread, light on what's going on in today's day and age. And the one thing I also want to get out of the way is I consider myself politically neutral. I don't like our government. I don't like any like political. I disagree with both sides of the aisle, Republican and Democrat. I think they're both corrupt. I think they're both only in it for themselves and their own greed and money and not for the people. Um, but with what's going on in the news lately, because Republicans have majority seat in Congress and House of Representatives and obviously president, I tend to be more left leaning on a lot of subjects. But that being said, I'm gonna say how it is, and I'm not gonna, pun intended. I'm gonna be unfiltered, when it comes to this because it's something that's been bothering me. I've always wanted to do a more like politically based podcast. Um, but like I wasn't sure when the right time was, and I wasn't sure if I wanted. I was kind of afraid that people wouldn't hate me, but I realized that in life, not everyone you know is gonna like you or support you or agree with you, and that's just the way it is. As a matter of fact, this entire week that I was, I should probably mention this also as well. The whole reason, um, on the delay of the episode is because like I said in that statement that I posted, the episode was ready. It was literally made the day before, and it was set to release on this channel at 12 o'clock. But later that night, I listened to it again, and I just didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't like the way it came out. I didn't like the way, it's just like the way the entire episode went. Um, so what I did is I deleted it and I recorded another episode like 3 or 4 in the morning, and then I didn't like that at all. So I just said, "Fuck it, it's too late. I'm gonna go to bed. I'll just, because so talking about serious topics like what we're gonna talk about today and from going on, you're going to need to be yourself researched. You're gonna need to do your research, your homework, and it's gonna be incredibly hard to do that. Um, and I didn't wanna come off again, like I said in that statement, the new thing that I wanna be focused on this podcast is the credibility and the integrity of it. I don't wanna, like, sound like a fucking crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist and, like, make shit up. I wanna sound professional as I can, and if I make a mistake or you disagree with me, by all means, that's what the comment section for. I'm not gonna be like a current administration and, uh, you know, go against your First Amendment right of freedom of speech. Um but yeah, that's the reason why I didn't upload last week, and that's why I made sure all week that I prepared a new outline. The other thing I'm going to be focusing is citing my sources. It's just gonna further my point on like I'm not pulling shit out of my ass, and I'm actually reading stuff. So if you guys want to read along with me, if you guys want to make sure I'm fact checked right, I'll be leaving all my sources in the link in the description as well. By all means, if you want to do that. Um, but yeah, so that's what's also happened. So then again, like if this new rebrandage of the podcast is not your thing, I totally get that. That's why I'm still doing the unfiltered podcast. So if you want more like sports related shenanigans, funny topics, crazy wild stories, and just more of a fun vibe. That's not to say we're not gonna have fun here on the Barila Show podcast, but if you want more a little bit light-hearted podcast, by all means, go and subscribe to the Unfiltered Podcast. I'll leave all their social medias down in the description as well. But this, I mean, we're gonna have fun here time to time. Obviously, I'm gonna mix in real world news with my takes, with jokes. I'm sure I'm gonna have guests on. I have a couple ideas for people, close friends of mine that I want to have on to get their opinion and pick their brain about it. Because I know friends and family from both sides of the political aisle that I want to pick their brains and get their thoughts on certain things. Um, but yeah, so what today's episode is going to be about. I'm going to try to keep this episode a little short. Unfortunately, again, the combination of I'm currently sick and I can't breathe in my nose right now. And I have shortness of breath. But what's today's episode's about? Well, obviously, if you see by the title of the episode, is our First Amendment rights being violated in America today? Now, before I say why it is, please tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm going to ask this currently. I am going to keep spamming this because I really am curious. That's another thing on why I love having this podcast, is because I want other people's perspective on things so I can, abroad myself on your ideas as well. So one of the reason why this has been a big issue, obviously it's no new news. The biggest example of this was the recent cancellation and then uncancellation of late night host Jimmy Kimmel for the comments that he made of Charlie Kirk's assassin. Um, so one thing that we got to get out of the way now, and you guys hopefully should know this, is why is the First Amendment so important? Um, if America is all about having a democracy, then it is a fundamental right to have your freedom of speech. With the current administration, it's currently getting more scarier. It's leaning more towards the dictatorial type of ideology where your political opponents and news outlets and comedians are getting silenced and they're being labeled as democratic, left leaning. So it's fucking insane. Um, on Monday, a few weeks ago, hours before Disney announced Kimmel's return, the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, released an open letter signed by over 400 Hollywood stars condemning Disney's decision as a dark moment of freedom of speech in our nation. These were signed by celebrities like Jennifer Aniston, Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Ben Affleck, Robert De Niro, and hundreds of more, obviously. Kimmel Show was reinstated later on the 23rd of September to an overwhelming positive response. His monologue alone currently has 21 million plus views on YouTube and the television side of things. According to the Rolling Stone, Kimmel's comeback episode ranked up to 6.2 million viewers. And this is a quote that Kimmel said himself on this comeback episode. It would appear that the Trump and the MAGA administration attempted to silence their critiques backfired badly, because the whole idea for this cancellation is because Trump made that comment. I'm not gonna repeat it. I personally don't think he didn't even say anything too harsh. He basically, I'm not sure if I don't have it, but if it's somewhere online, um, basically it was along the lines of the MAGA gang is trying to score more political points by saying that Charlie Kirk's killer Tyler Robinson was a left leaning Democrat. Um, that's another topic that I want to talk about in a later episode that I have planned, is that people cherry picking on both sides of political violence. I just straightforward hate violence in general, but I, especially with recent times, I fucking hate political violence because people keep cherry picking. Oh, this, left leaning loser, killed, Charlie Kirk. This MAGA Republican, did this to his church. And it's this back and forth. People, both sides are in the fucking wrong. It's only gotten more extreme under, the past 5-10 years under Trump's first term, Biden's term, and then obviously with this second Trump term, which by the way isn't even a full fucking year. It's felt like a full year. It's not quite yet, unfortunately. But I think I want to do is in December before the new year happens. I want to go over Trump's first year as president, and I'm just gonna straightforward say it now. I don't think he's going to do good because we're 10 months in and it's fucking shit, to put it frankly. So this is what after ABC and Disney gave back Kimmel's show, Donald Trump took to his shitty platform Truth Social, and wrote, quote, "I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told that that his show was canceled. Something gone between then and now because his audience is gone," which is clearly not true, "and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and puts a network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democratic garbage?" Don't know where he got that statistic from. He is yet another arm of the DNC, and to the best of my knowledge, that will be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test out ABC on this. Let's see how we do. The last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds more lucrative. A true bunch of losers let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Again, this extremely backfired on Trump and the MAGA administration because clearly everyone is fucking sick and tired of his Trump and his administration besides Republicans. Um, Let me take a little water break here. Damn, fuck being sick. During his monologue, one of his after returning from being canceled, Kimmel stated that this show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. End quote. Quote. He also briefly apologized about the comments that got his show canceled, saying, "quote I want to make something clear because it is important to me as a human. That is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of a murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it, nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for their actions of what was obviously a deeply disturbed individual." End quote. Perfectly said. He also went on to say, "quote that was really opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some people that it felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you'd be upset. If the situation was reversed, there'd be a good chance that I'd have felt the same way." End quote. Perfectly said, my opinion. Kimmel would later go on to go after Trump and even more by saying, quote, "The President of the United States made it very clear that he wants to see me and hundreds of people who work here fired from their jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because they can't take a joke. One of the things that I learned from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that our government threats to that a government that threats to silence a comedian that the president doesn't feel is anti-American." End quote. Which is fucking beautiful and perfect in that circumstance. To finish off his monologue, Kimmel talked about Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk, remarks during the memorial service of Charlie. Kimmel said, quote, "Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband," Kimmel said. He then went on to say, quote, "That is an example that we should all follow. It touched me deeply. And if there's anything that we could take away from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope that it can be that, not this." End quote. And although the Trump Vance, alongside the administration, want to deny their involvement in the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel, there's been plenty of evidence that says otherwise. Because again, Trump loves to fucking gloat about his successes, and obviously, he literally bragged about it himself on that Truth Social post that he was him and his goons of the MAGA administration were the ones who tried to silence Jimmy Kimmel. It's fucking clear as day, and there's really no saying otherwise. Once Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, pulled the plug on the show a week prior, Trump took to Truth Social praising the work. Oh, pardon me. And Trump said, quote, the ratings challenged Kimmel show and it is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and the worst ratings than Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also terrible. Do it, NBC. President GJT, end quote. Wow. I mean, that is like as clear as day as how fucking corrupt our current administration is. It's unfortunate, and it's not. There's other plenty examples besides the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel that the people that Trump and the administration are silencing their political opponents. Now, for the people at home that are watching, I want you to dig deep, and I want you guys to think, and I want you guys to really reflect on this question. The question I have for you the question I have in particular, if Trump is this vocal about his critics, what else is he willing to do about his political opponents? Obviously, um, you know, at the time of recording this, October 2nd, our government is currently shut down. Democrats are blaming Republicans, Republicans are blaming Democrats because, of course, why have a United States government if they're not fucking united? Me personally, I think it's the government fault, plain and simple. Not a particular side. I think they both have a say on what happened. I have to do a little bit of research and, hopefully our government opens soon. If not, I'll probably be talking about a little more into that on next week's episode. But I want you guys to really think about that question. Is our First Amendment right being silenced and criticized and, you know, being silenced? And what would Trump do to his political opponents? Because it's very clear that and don't get me started on this fucking whole army visit that fucking shit ass Pete Hegseth and Trump went to this past week. It was breaking news that already that the government had everybody, all of America's top awarding generals and admin and everybody to one spot for a very important meeting, and everybody's freaking out. Everybody was freaking out that this could be World War III or any other serious threat. It was then later to be televised that it was basically a upgrade in policies. Um, Pete went up to say like, no more beardos, no more. He's basically fat shamed generals, and then Trump, who literally said used American cities as like Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. I forgot what's the fucking not Davenport. I'm thinking of somewhere else in the upper West Coast area. These fucking places that they said Trump very clearly said it's not cherry picked. I encourage you guys to watch this entire thing, saying that use American cities as training grounds for fucking the army, and everybody in that entire fucking room was clearly as day. I'm fucking tired of Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump, and I implore the military generals and everybody in that room that took a silent protest, basically, because you could very clearly fucking tell that that they had enough. So, I mean, that's gonna be a quick little episode. That's what I have to do. I wish I could make this a little longer. I really do, but again, I can fucking barely breathe. The longer I talk, my throat gets dry, and my nose is really congested. I don't know if you guys can tell, but yeah, I mean, obviously, as the week goes on, I'm gonna talk about. I have a couple ideas already that I want to talk about in next week's episodes. They're gonna be a lot more longer and more thought provoking. If you guys are interested in topics like this, please tell me. I want all feedback. I want all criticism in the comments down below. Obviously, to an extent, don't be an asshole. Don't threaten anybody. Don't don't be an asshole, basically. But yeah, all the social medias will be in the link down in the description, alongside my sources that I have for this episode. I encourage you guys to read that before you come after me with a thought. Unfiltered Podcast, subscribe to that. That'll be in the description. Link in the description. And as always, guys, it is a scary point in America today, and I want you guys to be safe and sound out there. I love you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and it feels good to be back here at the Barila Show podcast. Peace.